Hello, everyone. How are you? Good afternoon. It's Coach Coates, Cooking and Eating Clean with Coach Coates. This is another special edition with our Path to Success 30-Day Challenge. We are approximately 7 days in, and as I always like to begin with, my journey. This 30-day challenge begins with me, as you see in the pictures here. Um, in the middle, there I am in college wrestler, Division I athlete, excellent student, excellent person all the way around. I held myself to that standard and still continue to do that. But most important, I was in phenomenal shape, physically, mentally, and spiritually. As time goes on, the next 10 years, we're gaining about probably about 50, 60 pounds. And then as you see the picture down below it, that is approximately 20 years later. I was at 425 pounds. Mentally, I was not in good shape because my body hurt constantly. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about is inflammation. The food that we eat now has so many chemicals in it to make it more lasting on the shelf that do not jive with our bodies. Whether it be the meat, whether it be the chemicals that are sprayed on the vegetables that we're eating, we need to try to neutralize those in the best way that we can. And the way that we do that is by, number one, the meat that we eat. Let's try to make sure that we're eating organic meat. Let's try to make sure that we're cooking it properly. And me personally, my choice is to not eat beef or pork or chicken. I eat fish, and even in fish, there are certain things in there that we need to watch out for. But most important is all of the plants that we eat. You know, if you think about it like this, the dinosaurs, most of them ate plants, okay? And look about how long they lived. But the way that we cleanse our bodies is, you know, God gives us everything that we need within the kingdom to heal our own bodies with medicine, and that is with our nutrition. And then the picture you see up in the corner, that was me a little bit ago. Now, I want to talk about the dash. And again, this is very important to me because I heard this poem a long time ago. And it spoke about, you know, we're born one day and we die one day. What are we doing in the middle of that? Well, you know, my mission right now is to make sure that I can touch as many lives as I can and help people to live their dream life all the way around, not just in their food and nutrition, but in their spiritual life, in their physical life, in their exercise and meditation. I cannot tell you how important it is to meditate and to have the ability to calm the mind, especially with the way things are right now. And I really don't want to say the way things are because I have a certain way of looking at things. You know, for those of you who some may not be religious, I'm a religious man, I'm a Christian man. God is good, and I choose to make my life as positive and prosperous as I can. As we move on, let's talk about what we're doing in our 30-day challenge. Okay. 30-day challenge. This was my opportunity to reach out and help other people to begin the process of doing what I've been able to do. Again, I've lost almost 200 pounds. It's just been an amazing journey. I continue to thank my chiropractor and nutritionist over at Cooperstown that really helped out a lot. But a lot of it had to do with just good old-fashioned ingenuity, practicing what I preach, making sure to calm my mind and meditate so that I made good food decisions, hydrating, you know, and the list goes on. But the thing is that Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't think that you're going to just change all your habits around in one day. I have a saying, and I used to use this when I coached high school wrestling and football. Every day we get a little better. And if you think about it, if you get 1% better every day, at the end of the year, you're going to be 365% better. And that's what I like to think that I did. I'll give you an example. This week, and I'm going to talk about my goals because we've got about 12 people that have joined now. And I want to make sure that they're understanding how I'm setting these SMART goals. I use the acronym SMART, okay? But how we're going to do this. Our first goal is going to be in exercise. My goal this week was I wanted to walk 30 miles this week in 7 days. So that's a little bit over 4.5 miles. Well, I got 35 miles this week, crushed my goal, feel amazing. I can't tell you how good it feels. I like to get up really early in the morning before the sun rises and watch the sun rise over the horizon as I'm walking. And I'm actually doing kind of a walking meditation as I'm doing that to calm my mind, to get ready for the day. And again, to win the day. I come in, I organize my day. And then as we move on to the next one, calming the mind and meditation. I cannot tell you how critical it is to have the skills to be able to calm your mind. The hormone cortisol is what helps us, or what makes us to gain weight. Cortisol gets thrown into our system in that fight or flight effort, okay? And that comes back to when we were cavemen running from the dinosaurs and stuff. Hey, you needed to have that cortisol right then, that stress hormone, so that, man, you could either get out of there or run or whatever, or fight or whatever you need to do. Well, what it does is it makes you pack on the fat. Okay, so the more fat that you're packing on, you may be dieting and doing all the other things that you can do, but if you can't understand how to control cortisol, you're going to have a tough time controlling your weight. And the next one is nutrition and hydration. Hydration, folks, hydration is huge. I know I had somebody come to me and ask me about hydration. They said they don't make their water go. So one of the suggestions that I had, and here's why I was a little bit wrong. I should have asked if she had a juicer, and I don't think I asked her a blender. But one of the things that I would do is, for example, cucumbers have a lot of water. Celery has a lot of water in it, okay? Those are two things that I would just juice those up, and then I'd split the same amount with water, put it in a container, and I would drink that all day. But use your vegetables to help you to meet your nutritional goals, and hydration and nutrition. Nutrition is critical, I can tell you. My progress has been huge. From the red chard to the kale that's one of the things we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a quick one today. We're gonna do some Brussels sprouts and some red chard and some kale, and put that all together. But most of the time, that's all I'm eating. I'm not eating a lot of meat. Even a lot of, I do eat salmon a lot, and I'll eat some orange roughy. But I try to get the fresh, not farmed salmon that doesn't have any food coloring added. That's the one thing you have to watch out for with salmon. What they do is they add color so that it looks better. I'm not worried about my meat the way that it looks, as long as I know that it's good and there's less impurities like dyes in it. Dyes have been known to cause all kinds of horrible things to go wrong in your bodies. Your body's not used to that dye. It doesn't need that. Okay, where we are on our journey and where you are going to be on your journey, okay? Now, for those of you who are starting, focus on the now. We can't do anything about what we've done in the past, okay? What you did yesterday, what you ate yesterday, what you drank yesterday, doesn't really matter, okay? As long as you're starting today. That's the most important part. Okay. What you're doing today. I've had some feedback in the background from somebody that I meal prep for, and they're really agreeing with that. But that is the truth. I know I'm kind of tough as a health coach in some ways. I have flashbacks when I was a wrestling coach, and there are some people out there that watch this that I actually coach when they're younger, and I'm sure they're kind of shaking in their boots right now because I was very tough on their diet. But the reason why is because I knew the performance that they had on the mat or on the football field as a result of the great way that they were eating and meeting their nutritional and hydration goals. Setting SMART goals, okay? SMART goals are very simple, folks. Simple, okay? For example, say I want to do a push-up goal. I can do 2 push-ups. I would say, okay, if you want to do a push-up goal, I need you to get down and give me how many push-ups you can get. Okay, they get down there and they give me 2. All right, 2 push-ups, great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, my goal is going to be simple. I'm going to do 2 push-ups a day for the next 5 days. Measurable. I'm going to do 2 push-ups a day for the next part. There's your measurable. Attainable. You've already been able to do 2, so I know that you can do 2 more for 5 days. The next one is realistic. That's very realistic. All I'm asking you to do is 2 for 5 days, and then at the end of that 5 days, we're going to add maybe 2 more for the next week, okay? And time-oriented for a week. Again, 2 push-ups, 5 days in a row, okay? And again, it meets that litmus test. Simple, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-oriented. Moving on. Trust the process. For the next 30 days, I'm willing to mentor you for those who want to make lasting lifestyle changes and make achievable goals. You can do anything your mind sets your body to. Simple as that, okay? When I first started my mission, there was no way that I actually thought that I was going to look the way that I look right now. And it's kind of funny because my youngest son, who's out in Seattle, was watching the show, I believe it was last week or the week before, and he got a side shot of me, and he called me on the phone. He's like, "Oh my God, you disappeared. Look at you," and which really made me feel good because I have worked really hard to get to this point, but I've also worked very smart to get to this point. And when I say worked very smart, here's where I go. Visualize where you want to be physically and mentally. Visualization is just as key as meditation. When I walk, I actually visualize working out. I read a study that talked about, they did a double-blind placebo test, which is the test of that we want to use. And people who visualized working out and the people who worked out basically had the same strength gains in whatever they were. I believe they were doing arm curls. Basically had the same strength gains. But I know when I'm working out, when I'm walking and I'm thinking about jumping rope, or it may be wrestling, or it may be, I don't know, different things that I like to do, ride the bike or swim. I know that I feel like I get a better workout, and I can also work my core a lot more as I walk. And moving on. All right, the next one is question 1. If you could see what you currently feel is the exact body you want, what would it look like? When we talk about our visualization, that's what we're talking about right there. What do you want your body to look like? Now, if you weigh, for example, I weighed 425 pounds. When I was visualizing, and my initial goals, I wanted to get back to, well, let's see, at first I weighed 425 pounds. My first goal was I wanted to get to 300 pounds. And I have these all written down. And I look back at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember that. I mean, because they were written, I have them on a chart on my wall. I wanted to get to 300, and I knew what that looked like because I had been to 300 before. Okay. And as it says, how much would you weigh? Really set that in your mind. Where do you want to be? Okay. What would your energy level? The next question is, what would your energy level be? I know one of the things that I found is my energy level is through the ceiling now. I know I use the example with my grandson, and actually my stepdaughter also says, you know, I can't even keep up with you anymore. We go to the store and I'm like running the cart and doing that kind of stuff. Whereas before, I got to be honest, and even she would agree with this, I would barely have enough energy to talk. I mean, I'd go through my day and well, now my energy is like a 9 or 10 all the time. For example, today I've had 2 milkshakes, okay, 2 protein shakes, and that's it. And I mean, I feel like I can do anything. So when you begin this process, and as you move on, you're going to find the more weight you lose, the better you eat, the more you drink, the more energy you have. And the next question you need to ask yourself, okay, how important is it for you to improve your health goals? I'm going to be honest. It took me to where, you know, I was having some real trouble. I truly believe that I would not be here right now if it wasn't for me making the changes that I made. I had sleep apnea. I had high blood pressure. They said I had congestive heart failure. I don't believe in that. I'm sorry. Doctors can say what they want to say, but I knew that I had to make some changes. Okay. I'm sure their test said that, but the next time I went back, I guarantee you the test didn't say that. I went back to my doctor after a year, and first of all, they didn't recognize me when I walked in the doctor's office. Second of all, when I came in, the doctor wanted to run all these tests. He's like, oh my God, your skin looks good. And okay, I need to send off for these tests, and we'll call you back tomorrow. So he calls me back tomorrow and come back in the office. I said, so doc, you know, how am I doing? And he was just amazed. He's like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. That's for sure. He goes, I tell 100 people to do this. I've seen one, and that's you. And I told him, I said, you know what, doc, I'm going to continue this. And that's another thing that kind of got me thinking, you know what, I can help others to do this. So that's my mission. That's what I want to do. Okay. So today, let's get started with what we're going to do today. All right. Today, we are going to prepare some red chard, some regular kale. I couldn't find purple kale. I was kind of upset, but I'll get over it, I guess. It's just a little bit of a different taste. It's not bad at all, but I like to get my kale moving in the skillet a little bit. And this kale actually will be meal prep. The other thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do some Brussels sprouts. And Brussels sprouts are amazing in the air fryer. So we're going to use the air fryer, and we're going to use the skillet. So let's get this party started, folks. Okay. I'm going to start off by moving to my cutting board here. And as you see, this beautiful, vibrant red chard, this stuff is amazing. I absolutely love it. And again, my knife skills, gripping my knife, keeping my fingers out of the way, cutting along the stems. Some I will use, some I will not use. Okay. I'm going to bring that over there. And just to make it a little easier, I'm going to bring my skillet to right here because it hasn't been warmed up yet. And I'm just going to rough chop this and put it in. And again, some I will use, some I will use the stem, some I will not use the stem. Usually the bigger stems I don't like to use, but the stems have the vitamins and minerals in it, so we need to really make sure that we use those also. Okay. Some people don't like to use the knife as much, so you can really just tear these off. Okay, there we go. Now, people will ask, how do you choose your vegetables? What I suggest is, now that you've decided that you're going to make these changes, that you start to have to get out when you get to the store, and we talked about this last week. When you get to the store, don't immediately go to the meat. Don't immediately go to, go to your vegetables and fruit aisle first. Look in there to see, is there something that I'd like to try that I, really wouldn't? If you'd like suggestions on how to cook certain things, please ask. If not, go to YouTube. That's what I started doing. Believe it or not, I also did some fasting, and we can talk about, maybe we'll talk about that on some future shows. But, I'm not a fasting expert, and, food I know, and I've developed. Fasting I used, and it really helped me out a lot. So, but when I started fasting, believe it or not, I realized that, if I'm going to change some things, I need to learn how to cook vegetables better. So what I did was I went on YouTube and started checking out some YouTube videos on cooking vegetables. A lot of vegan stuff, which is great for most people, but I have a huge nut allergy. I mean, a really, really bad nut allergy. It's not good when I get nuts. Usually it's 911 to the hospital. And so a lot that disqualifies me for a lot of things that are in the vegan cookbook. So I had to kind of learn to adapt my own stuff, and it's working out pretty good. It really is. I enjoy learning to do different things. This particular combination of vegetables came about when I looked up the most nutritious and vitamin-filled vegetables that there were, because I wanted to get the best bang for my buck. I wanted to say, hey, you know what? These are the best ones. This is what I'm going to do. All right, let's get this on the stove. Okay, now my seasonings. I'm going to use a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. Bam! And then you know what? I'm not going to say the name. I'll just cover the name. But it's a blackened seasoning, and you use it for everything. It's got a little bit of celery salt. It's got a little bit of cayenne pepper in it. And then it has a little bit of smoke flavor and a little bit of paprika. That's about it. So you can use whatever you like in there. And those are the two that I'm going to use. I'm going to sprinkle those on. So I'm going to step over here real quick and do that. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. And about 2 turns of the salt. Okay, we're going to get that moving at about 4 for right this second. I'm going to reach in and grab something too, and I'm going to wash this off real quick. Okay, and now we're going to move to, first I'm going to clean my cutting board. As you notice in some of my other videos, I wasn't quite as debonair at doing that, but now I'm getting a little bit better, I'm loving it. So anyway, Brussels sprouts. I love these little guys. Believe it or not, I did not love these little guys before. I made this transformation. Now that I've made this transformation, these things are amazing. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to half them, and then I'm going to put them in my little baggie here. I'm going to season them in there, put like a little oil, or I use this little avocado spray, and this can is gone. I've got another one in the cabinet. But so I'm going to fold my bag over to make it easier. And as I'm doing this, I'm listening. Crackle, crackle. When I hear that crackle, crackle, that's good, because everything's going to melt down to that skillet and just be absolutely delicious. Brussels sprouts, again, I believe they call them cruciferous vegetables. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Excellent for you, excellent for your body. Excellent water content also. And all I'm doing is chopping those in half. And you know what I like to do? One of my secrets is I save the little leaves over to the side, and then I throw them in there, and they taste amazing. There. So we'll get about 5 or 6 more. Oops, wrong one. That was funny. I threw the regular one in the sink. There we go. Keep your focus, Dan. Focus. There we go. It's funny. I have one of my old teammates from college. that told me he was going to watch today, and which would be amazing. I know he's on his own mission for weight, and he told me, "Hey, I see what you're doing, man. Can you help me out?" And I love it. I love it. Like I said, I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to do this. I want to help and bless other people. It's not necessarily about just your own journey, but it's about everyone's journey. The more people we can help, the better. I look at America now, I look in the way that I see people, and we've gotten so heavy and people think it's just overeating. It's not just overeating, okay? It's the food choices that we make. If you teach yourself to make better food choices, better things will happen, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna step over to the stove because I hear that crackle, crackle. That's a good crackle, hold on. Okay. Now we're going to cut the rest of these Brussels sprouts up. Now, as I'm doing this, start thinking about what goals you think that you would like to do. And all of you have my email address. It is Coach, COACH, DCOATES, the number 4, life @gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Let's talk about your goals, okay? If you're not involved in our 30-day challenge, it's not too late to join. Join up now. Let's get it started. I have certain people that have joined, and we're ready to go. I started my first week. I'm going to show them the goals that I crushed this week. And I love using that word crush because, actually it was Thursday, I think. I decided to go further because it was supposed to rain. So I didn't know how far I was going to be able to walk, in the rain the next couple of days. So I was walking, and I think I got to about 6 miles. And I'm like, I just kind of forgot about it. Got into the music. Before I was finished, I had walked 9.2 miles. And it really didn't feel like it because I went inside. I was like, okay, took a shower and got ready for work, started doing what I needed to do. Again, your energy level goes through the ceiling when you're eating well. Well, what was I eating well? I'd had a protein shake the night before. This is the magic number right here, okay? Not just that, the fiber that goes through your body, you don't have any issues there. You're moving all of the toxins. When you lose weight, you're getting rid of loosening all the toxins. You need to make sure you're moving that stuff out. So the fiber is important, okay? Let me step and get some oil real quick. Okay, we've got our oil. And then we're going to season. And I'll put this on the cutting board so you can see it. Going 1, 2, 3. And then our other seasoning. And then I'm going to zip those up, rub them around, make sure we get them nice and coated. Now, one of the other little secrets that I do with these is I put just a little bit of organic salad dressing on it. And that is because the person that I meal prep for absolutely loves this organic salad dressing. And I think she eats it probably a little better because of the salad dressing on it. But it's not, it's not too much taken away from the nutritional value. So it's worth it. That's the other thing. Don't expect to switch everything around in one day, okay? You're not going to be able to eat like this just in one day. Start with the salads. Okay? I know somebody told me that in the first week they added 3 extra salads. That's great. I mean, that's a great start. Okay, so if you look down to the skillet there, we are moving over to here. I'm going to get my air fryer going. And all I'm going to do is drop those in, spread them around. There we go. Now, some people ask, what are we setting the air fryer for? I set it at 380 and 8 minutes. So 380 and 8 minutes. Now, as we're doing this, as you look at the skillet, it's really wilting down. So it's time to add a little more. So as I'm doing this, I'm waiting, and I'm going to cut up some more red chard to put in there. Okay. Now, people ask what vegetables are the best. Do your research, folks. Which ones do you like? Again, in nature, they say that the more vibrant the color, the better the vegetable is for you. And usually it works out that way, vitamin and mineral wise. So do your research. Again, YouTube is a great place to start. There's so many different articles on nutrition and balance and how to fast. And, with all of these things, the difference of the male body and the female body, as far as nutrition, there's a little bit of difference. So do your research for yourself. If not, go to a holistic doctor. That's what I would suggest. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the skillet here. All right. And we'll get those moving, and then I'm going to go with one or two more of these, and then we'll save the rest for the rest of the week. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm doing these for meal preps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide these into different dishes. So each day for 3 days with the Brussels sprouts and then the red chard and the kale, and it's green kale, not purple kale. Let's not get that confused now. Each day I'm going to section off a little place and put it in a container, put it in the fridge. So in the morning, you can take your stuff, take it to work. And if you want to microwave it, you can. I'm trying to stay away from the microwave as much as I can. However, it's very difficult at times, especially when you're at work and you have time constraints and stuff like that. The other thing is make sure that you're hydrating. Carry a bottle with you, okay? I carry a 2-pound jug. Well, let me show you my jug, okay? This is my water. This is 1 gallon. I try to do 2 of these a day, okay? And especially when I'm walking a lot, I have to make sure that I'm getting enough water. And you can kind of tell, for example, today, my skin is really, really dry. That means I'm not getting enough water. I need to make sure that I pick it up today because water is critical, okay? Now, coming back, when we are doing the Brussels sprouts, we need to make sure in the air fryer, anytime you're doing the air fryer, make sure that halfway through you shake it up. So let's give it a quick shake. Shake, shake. And then look at those. Oh, I know you saw the steam coming off of there. Did you see the steam coming off there? Oh, those are going to be so good. And again, all you have to do is season them the way that you like it. A lot of times, you can also do things like add garlic. Garlic is amazing for the body, okay? Add your garlic to your dishes, and you'll have no problem. A lot of people say, you know what, I can't do salt. No problem at all. Add your garlic. You can use celery seeds, okay? You can use a lot of different spices and experiment. Now, me also, I like hot food. I even like it more now that I don't eat meat for some reason. For example, if this was for me right now, I'd be adding jalapenos and habaneros, okay? And to me, that just makes the taste pop. One of the things that I want to stress here is the more vibrant colors that you use in preparing your meals, the more satiated I think the body is. I think we understand it and love it a little bit more because of the colors involved. I don't know why that is. I'm sure there's some scientific reason that I'm not aware of at this time, but let's take a look back over here because I think we're about ready to play. Okay. We are moving this around and just kind of keep it moving there a little. You can let it sit for a while, but then you kind of have to separate them. There we go. And I'm going to grab a plate because we're almost ready. this is going to be amazing. Let me go back and check at my air fryer one more time. And the thing about when you're doing the red chard and the kale, you're adding. So some of it is a little more cooked than others, but to me, that's the beauty of the dish. Some of it is a little rawer than some of it's cooked, but because it brings out more of the vitamins and minerals and the flavor, it also gets rid of that little bit of bitter tinge that you taste with kale sometimes. And if you don't like that, again, use garlic, use pepper if you like. You can use all kinds of different things. And again, your palate will change as you begin to get healthier. I don't want to necessarily lose weight because everybody gets tied up into losing weight. If you eat nutritiously, you hydrate your body and you meditate, you bring yourself into balance. And if that's the way that you are, that's the way that you are. You will find that as you do that the right way, your weight will naturally come down. Okay. All right. We've got about 3 minutes left on the Brussels sprouts, and I'm going to take a look back on the stove again. Oh, yes. This is looking really good. Okay, now I'm going to grab a little something here. A little orange to brighten up the day. And these are my sweet baby bell peppers, which I absolutely love. I like the green ones. I like the orange ones. But again, I'm changing the color up. Something else that I like to do, I like to add a little more fruit into my vegetables. For example, with this one right here, I could easily throw some kiwi in here. I could easily throw an apple in here. No problem at all. But again, we're getting a balance of all the vitamins and minerals that our body needs. Okay. All right, let's take a look. And I think our kale is about ready to plate. Kale and chard, that is. Look at that, folks. Does that look amazing or what? Okay, let's get this on the plate. There we go. I turned my stove off. I know one time I was doing this and I was just talking and we were eating and everything. I'm like, oh, I left the stove on, but not this time. All right, so here's the magic. As you see, it just kind of makes it pop when you put that orange on there. Not just that, but the flavor. All right, now let's take a look. First, I'm going to clean my area a little bit more here. And I believe my Brussels sprouts are a minute away. There we go. All right. Let's check our Brussels sprouts now. Oh, yes. All right, folks, take a look, take a look, take a look, take a look. Now, give them a look. Yep. Yep, there they are. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little secrets about these Brussels sprouts. And see these little guys right here? Okay. These little crispy, tasty morsels are the best. Absolutely delicious. So this is our meal prep. This will probably give us 2 meals, more than 3 meals, as you see. Okay. And I can add anything I want. For example, you people that still want to eat meat, you can just as easily bake a piece of, say 3 or 4 chicken or 3 chicken thighs, cut this into 3 meals. Okay. And then have a chicken thigh with each one. And that's 3 meals for you. Well, we are about out of time, folks. I'd like to thank you very much for joining me. And again, we started our 30-day challenge, but if you'd like to join, send me an email at coachdcoatesforlife@gmail.com. We also are accepting donations. I'm doing this out of not just the kindness of my heart, the kindness of my soul, because I believe that you've got to give back when it's been given to you. And it has been given to me. It has been taken away from me. Almost I think it's like 195 pounds has been taken away. I've got to give back. But we still have operating costs. I mean, each week we're doing the food and that kind of stuff. So if you would like to contribute from the kindness of your heart, you can do my Venmo account. And that is also at my email address, coachdcoatsforlife@gmail.com. And that's Venmo. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for showing up and spending this time with us. If you have any questions, please send me an email. Those of you who have joined the challenge, send me an email tonight with your updated goals. If you need help creating your goals, send me an email and I'll get right back to you and we'll create those goals for the week. I know my goals for this week is coming up. For example, I'm going to walk at least 30 miles this week. I'm going to meditate twice a day. And, this week, actually, one day I didn't meditate. No, excuse me. I'm going to meditate twice a day. One day I meditated only one time. So that's something that I need to work on. My hydration goals. I didn't make sure that, yes, that's another one. My hydration goals. I didn't quite meet my hydration goals another day. And one thing that I have not talked about that was just brought up to me, and thank you very much, Dr. Smith, sleep. We need to rest the body. Now, really quick here, meditation is my way of sleeping, okay? Sometimes at night I cannot sleep. So what do? I meditate. I turn on, for example, I like this Indian flute music. It's not Indian, it's Native American flute music. And it really helps to calm me. Matter of fact, last night I was supposed to be meditating. I actually fell asleep and didn't even realize it, but that's how good it was. You need your rest, folks. Make sure. And if you can't rest, just meditate and just calm your mind. Learn to calm that mind. But again, I'm going to let you go now. This is Coach Coates coming to you again from Eating and Cooking and Eating Clean with Coach Coates. Thank you very much. Have an amazing week and crush those goals, folks. Talk to you later.